everyone, this is Rabbity Squad Animation Bliss, and welcome to another anime news roundup series. So, there's been a lot of anime news going on for the past few weeks or so, and one of the anime news I'll be talking about today actually was started up in February, but I wasn't able to do a video about that news update, so I'll be discussing about it here. But let's talk about what's been going on in the animated world lately. So the first bit of anime news that's been happening is that Butch Hartman, the creator of shows like The Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom and Tough Puppy, has decided to leave Nickelodeon. And he actually made a video on YouTube discussing about why he's leaving Nickelodeon. And if you want to know more details about why he's leaving Nickelodeon, check out his video for more details. The next bit of news that we'll be talking about today is actually two bits of news that would tie up with each other. And the first bit of news that happened was Dan Snyder, who's been the creator of live action shows such as Key and Kel, Drake and Josh, Victorious, and iCarly, has been let go by Nickelodeon. And even though the articles I've read didn't really go into detail about why Dan Snyder was being let go by Nickelodeon, there's been some rumors or some articles surfacing on the web that it might be because of the sexual allegations going up. He's been accused of sexual harassment, and that might have something to do with it, according to some theories going around the internet. And the last bit of news I wanted to talk about is John Kay, who was the creator of Ren and Stimpy, has been accused of sexual harassment against underage girls while he was working on Ren and Stimpy. So now let's get into this new segment for this series, which is thoughts for the day, where I go over all my thoughts about all these issues or all this news that's going on for the animation world. So let's talk about the first news. That was Butch Hartman is leaving Nickelodeon. Now this was the news that was actually released way back in February, but I wasn't able to do a video about it at the time. So here I'm gonna talk about my thoughts about Butch Hartman leaving Nickelodeon. And I will admit I'm really sad about all this because I really love the show Danny Phantom, and I love what Butch Hartman was able to bring to Nickelodeon through his animations. But at the same time, I do understand why he wanted to leave Nickelodeon. You know, if you work at a place for so many years, you feel like you just want to do something else, and sometimes sometimes it gets to you when you work for so many years. So I can understand his point of view on all this and why he wants to leave. So I only wish him luck on whatever new projects he's doing. He's still doing animation, but it's just for a different company. So I do wish Butch Hartman luck with his new projects, and I hope he does so well with his new animated projects. And I like to thank him so much for his contributions to Nickelodeon. And again, I wish him well with his new projects. Um, so with the next two stories about Dan Snyder being let go from Nickelodeon and John Kay being accused of sexual harassment from underage girls, these two stories kind of tie in with each other because it also wraps in with a lot of the sexual harassment accusations that's going on throughout Hollywood since last year. And I actually did a video about this last year regarding the Loud House, where the creator Chris Savina was also accused of sexual harassment, and Nickelodeon fired him immediately after that fact. And this pretty much ties in exactly with what's going on with what's possibly going on with Dan Snyder and John Kay. How there's so many accusations about sexual harassment going on around Hollywood, and a lot, even the animated shows are being affected by all this. So for those of you who are also in the same position where you're not sure about whether or not you should continue supporting the show because its creator was accused of sexual harassment, here are some two tips I use that helped me through this ordeal. So as I mentioned before, I did a video last year about the Loud House and how I was like devastated when I heard the news that Chris Savino was accused of sexual harassment. And I was thinking to myself, what would I do now in that situation? What's going to happen to the Loud House? How would I deal with the Loud House beyond that? Well, the first thing I did was that I had to separate the work from the creator. And that's becoming a growing meme right now around the internet. So, that's something I done. Like, I kind of think to myself, what did I come here for this show for? Did I come to the show for the characters and the world they live in, or did I come there for the creator? And the answer for me is that I came there for the characters. So, yeah, I might be a bit interested in what goes on behind the scenes at times, but the majority of the time, I'm more interested in the show than I am between with the people who's working on the show. So that was the mentality I used when I was trying to deal with the Loud House situation. I said, I came to the Loud House looking at the show because I liked the premise of the show. It was about a brother who has 10 sisters, which is something that was never done in television before. And I came to watch the show because of that premise. I didn't watch it for the creator himself, I watched it for the show itself. So that was one of the ways I was able to deal with it. And then another way I dealt with it was that I told myself, think about the other staff members who are working on the show and how, if something happened with the creator and the show suddenly got pulled off because of the actions of one person, it wouldn't be fair to the whole staff of people who were working on the show and they had to get fired or let go because of the actions of one person. So I think to myself, let's look at the staff members who had nothing to do with whatever the creator did and tried to support those staff members who are working on the show. And that's what I did with the Loud House. I was like, let me support the staff members who are still working on the show and had nothing to do with whatever happened with the creator. And that was how I was able to deal with it. So that's it for the animated news roundup for this week. And let me know in the comments below, what changes do you think will happen at Nickelodeon? And this is another thing I want to bring up. So with Nickelodeon, because the star creators have left the network, would this mean a big change for the network? And I think yes, there's going to be lots of changes to Nickelodeon because the star creators have left. So what kind of changes are going to happen, I'm not sure. It all depends on the new star creator and what kind of content they're able to bring to the network, and it also depends on what the audience wants, because this was something that was kind of unavoidable. You're not going to have your president or your star creator stay on the network forever. You're going to have somebody new come in and do something different with the network. So I am interested to see what direction Nickelodeon's going to go in this at this time now that all the star creators have left the network. So I do wonder where Nickelodeon is going at this point. So that's it for the anime news for this week. And let me know in the comments below, what changes do you think will happen on Nickelodeon recently? And also, if you had a favorite show who's if the creator of your favorite show was accused of sexual harassment, do you still support the show, or do you still watch the show, or do you drop the show entirely? So please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter so we can keep you updated on new videos we post up, and also like our Facebook page, and also support us through Patreon so we can continue to push out great content for this channel. And also watch us every Sunday. We post up new videos every Sunday. It could be Sunday morning, Sunday night, or Sunday evening, depending on when we can get the videos posted up. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that must mean that there was a bit of anime news released during the week that we wanted to cover. So those would be considered special videos. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Ravity's Blog Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.